Mama, you know the group party girl, so you not get you.
Aya.
They say, bro, would they test you?
Die.
Uncle Robin said, "What I'm gonna drink a bit." No.
God, have mercy on us. Come on. Now video me after video my
You
star.
can switch them back and front.
Hello, media.
Where you got time media for so?
Hello, boy.
Yes.
I am here to fix the stabilizer.
They are here to peace. Oh, God have mercy.
I am here to fix the stabilizer. The central stabilizer.
That's only yes. I didn't call not to wipe your neck.
You can't discover what's in the century stabilizer.
Don't worry.
Forget last bar, see anybody walk.
Well, say what they get, we don't get last boy. No, say you don't manage. Don't manage one for last boy life now. You know go shut up.
This time still not like you know. We know what you want to come ready for here.
Young man, be serious. Young man, be serious with your life, please. I'm not here to show.
But I yet to money.
Go there, home.
Let this strong say I am weak.
Bah. You get weak clothes very soon.
Get that long cord there. Yeah?
I don't want to go like that. I beg, give me 100 naira.
Get that long cord.
Wait, now you do this thing.
That job I make more for work. Not the bro. Don't you take the go plaza?
Last time the money was sent me to just the long come. Try Foundation Polytechnic before the final road Akwa Ibom State. Resume on 24. Wait, I will stop you the man. Because I the manager. 24. For last batch. Address from www.foundation.polytechnic.
No, don't give you admission.
Okay. So please, everyone, let's reduce our noise. We are now online. So let's reduce our noise and let's concentrate on what we are here for. So once again, you are all welcome to this class. And this is a practical class. If you look around the table, you see that what you see on the table are different stuff. You see different stuff. We have century stabilizer. This one is Tamoku. This one is Supermaster. That's Supermaster. And we have Duravos here. they all work on the same principle. Just bring out the phone. They carry the full stand. So we are going to start the training now. And like I said earlier before, whether you are good or not in stabilizer, it's just a class. We just want to see how we can do everything from scratch. So once again, my name is Robinson Egwe. In this month of April, we'll be doing this lecture. April 28th is my birthday, so I'm just sacrificing this month to do this lecture so that we will understand one or two things. Because in Nigeria, so many people have spent a lot on repairs. So, but there are some things you will understand. It will save you that cost of repair. And another aspect again, 80% of people that are fixing stabilizer don't know how to fix it effectively. And these are supposed to be common knowledge that even people in secondary school supposed to have. So that's why I've decided this month to make this free. We are still working on other projects. As you can see, this is one of our offices, but we need to perfect it to an electronic studio. And this is just the first of its kind we are doing like this. And as time goes on, we improve on it. So if you feel like supporting us, we will come up with that later. But for now, we just want to see how we could help our society, help Africans, to also give them one or two orientation, one or two lectures on stabilizers. Now, this is not all about only stabilizer. Let's get this clear. Because this is just about you understanding troubleshooting techniques, how to go about troubleshooting. Because troubleshooting is one of the basic things that everyone on planet Earth needs. And whether you are electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, that's what we call troubleshooting. Now, in troubleshooting, this stabilizer does not end here. This knowledge you are getting from this place can help you to troubleshoot so many things online, so many, like the instrumentation and controls, power and machine. Only troubleshooting stabilizer, you can apply that knowledge to your outside feed and get it done. So once again, we want to start analyzing them one after the other now, so that we know what and what we are into. So let's start. First of all, I will start my introduction on what is really a stabilizer. This stabilizer here you see, can someone please plug this stabilizer? So with me, I have some team of guys who want to also learn this practical and come up with something before the end of 1 month. And you too watching can take challenge. You too watching this can take challenge and also see what you can do within this period. Now, just hold on first, don't on it yet. It's as if you will bring out the phone. Let's focus on the front. Because carrying the full stand and everything. Collect the stand and keep it aside. Let the just hold it like that. So now, let me start from this. This stabilizer you see there, you see here. When you on it, you saw what happened. The output did not come up immediately. Let me do it again. It's off, you on it. Let's count the seconds. 1, 2, 3 seconds. This is for the short delay. And if you look at the stabilizer here, let me start explaining it right from the surface you see here. This is the surface. Now, this is the input meter. The next one is the output meter. This one is the switch. This one is the delay buttons. This is delay button. Now, you have this one. What is written on it is 100 to 260. I think watch this symbol. This one, the up one is shorter than the down one. So meaning the up one is that is shorter is to press it in. Why this one that is longer is to press it out. If it did not work, you hit it, it will come out because some of them, due to old age of the stabilizer, at times it might be hooking. Now, let me explain that button. That button you see there, it has that range. That button you see there is to boost it. Let's take, for example, this is century now. You won't see something like that, but what you will see is turbo. Turbo is the same function as that. Now, this one is century. This is the meter, the input meter. That is the voltage that goes into the stabilizer we display up here. Why the voltage that comes out of the stabilizer will display here. I think that's okay. Now, here are the indicators. This up one shows you that there is power. The second one is for the turbo. When you press it, the turbo is on. Sorry, the second one is a delay. If you on the stabilizer, the delay will blink, 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 and stable. When it's stable, there is an output. An output comes out. This turbo is for this one. When the turbo is on, it comes up. The next one is when you put the stabilizer, when you remove it from delay, this button light comes up. Every product had a way of identifying their stabilizers. But the basic thing is this. Just hold on for a minute. Put it here. Just hold on for a minute. Please leave here. You are distracting me. Please slide. So sorry for that break in transmission. So like as I was explaining initially, this up button here had two sections, 100 to 260. It shows you that when you on it at first, this up one you are seeing 140. When the voltage is up to 140, that is when it's needed. If the voltage is less than 140, the second one is preferred. Let me just make some write-up so that you understand what I'm explaining properly. So let me explain it properly. You plug the earpiece on this system. Let's see how the output is. Please, you can make your comment, and wherever you are commenting from, Let's know where you are watching us from. Don't worry, this is the first class. In subsequent class, we will perfect it. So plug that earpiece on that one. Let's get the output and know. If you are not hearing me from where you are watching from, you can let me know. Put it in your ear, whether you are hearing something. Okay. Okay. Is it coming out properly? Is it loud? That's my... Now, so now let me sketch something here. Let me explain something here pertaining this voltage range so that you understand voltage line. In voltage line, we have, let me use this. We have AC volts. We have DC volts. We have these two voltage line, and the two voltage line is, this one is used for battery. This one is used for the voltage in the house. Now, we have 100 volts down to 260 volts that is written on stabilizer. Now, from this 100 to 260, have max 240, 220, 180, 120. These are the major voltage lines that are practically we need to know. Your normal voltage you use in the house is between this range. This is normal. This one you see here, this 180, this one for 180 is the minimum normal. Anything that is less than 180 does not run effectively. Anything less than 180 is not okay, to be sincere. So your stabilizer can operate effectively from 120 to 260. That is what is written on it. So your output voltage for your stabilizer must fall between 220 to 240. So irrespective of what enters the stabilizer, your output must be between 220 to 240. Anything outside that range is not a normal voltage. So that is why fixing stabilizer, when you have troubleshoot the stabilizer and fix it, if the variables are not okay, you adjust the variable to ensure you get it. I will tell you what is called variable later for you to understand what is called variable. You can off that stabilizer. So take note of this voltage range. Stabilizer operate between, let me come again. Stabilizer operate between 100 to 260. That's what 90% stabilizer operates. Normal voltage is 220 to 240. Now, the other voltage, the 180 voltage, That is just the minimum you can take. So meaning if your device is running less than 180 without stabilizer, it's running at risk. So understand this voltage range. So if you finish fixing your stabilizer, you put your meter in the output, and you find out that the output is not between 220 to 240, meaning the stabilizer is yet to work effectively. So here come now with the next question. What is voltage stabilizer? It's a device that takes in an input voltage. 90% definition of it, that it takes an input voltage of 100 to 260 and gives you an output within this range of 220 to 240. If your stabilizer does not give you that output, meaning it's not okay. That is the genuine definition of stabilizer. We don't want to take long on this. It's an introduction. It's an introduction class, but let me explain. Let me bring in one stabilizer so that you look at it properly. Now, we have how many stabilizers here? We just want to bring in these different stabilizers for you to understand that there are the principles. It's just one principle govern audio stabilizer. Principle number one, all of them had wires. And this wire you see is the input wire that you plug to your socket. All of them have switch. All of them has input meter, output meter. All of them had working light, delay light, and unusual light. The unusual light comes up when there is an issue with the stabilizer. So it comes up when there is an issue. So when your usual light comes up, know that there is something wrong with that stabilizer. That's one is common in every stabilizer. So whatever stabilizer you are holding in your hands, you can compare it with this. At the end of this class, I will still put the WhatsApp group so that you can see ask question there. So that you can see ask question there in the WhatsApp group, so that people will get to know and benefit from your question. So I will advise you, wherever you are, whether Nigeria or any other country, if you have a stabilizer you want to fix within this period, just hold it by your side and we can follow you up to finish it. Because when we have done teaching you the standard of troubleshooting, there you can even apply it to any other appliances. So if you turn the back of the stabilizer, they have one thing in common in all of them: output socket. This one, their output live neutral earth, live neutral. This is just the fuse. Now, let me tell you something. 2000 watts and below uses fuse. But if the stabilizer is more than 2000 watts, they uses breaker, no more fuse. Please take note of that. Please take note of that. If the stabilizer is more than 2000 watts, there is no more fuse, but breaker, as in this one. Please sideways your hand properly. So this is the breaker. And it's the same process with the other one. This is the input meter, output meter. All these are the indicators. This one is Tamboko. So the output we talked about, just show them the output of that one. This one had a terminal input and output. This one has a cooling fan. Please take note of this cooling fan, whether the cooling fan is working or not. It does not stop the working principle. The essence of this fan is, let's assume the thing is working up to 6 hours with stabilizer on. The fan will come up to cool the system. Well, majority of times in Nigeria, whether the fan is there, it still work effectively. Now, let's go over to this one here. This is Duravos. This Duravos you see here, they have the 13 amps, they have the 15 amps. Now, let me do something here. Before we round up this class, I will come back to this place. I would like to explain this. It goes along that definition I explained about stabilizer. Everything is about this. This one tells you that the output is 220. This one tells you that the input you can take is 120 to 265. Anything outside this range, you can't handle it effectively. Now, let me go into the board of a stabilizer. You already know that this is the display. These are the meters. This is the breaker. This is the breaker. Then this is the board. Now, these are relays that does the switching. This is the power section. Anywhere you see a big capacitor on the board, that tells you that that area is the power. In a subsequent class, we will desolder a board like this. We will work on each of the components. So, later on, we give you a timetable because it is only the first and the last class we'll be doing live streaming. Other class will be a recorded class. We will explain each and every component on this board for you to understand, so that when you are doing troubleshooting, you know where you are doing troubleshooting from. And I will be giving you a flow chart. On a flow chart is just like a sequence you need to follow to fix a stabilizer, so that you don't just open stabilizer and start touching. No, you don't do trial by error. It's not ideal. One secret about stabilizer, if you detect any faulty component, fix those faulty components inside, the stabilizer will work well. That is it. Whether you can calibrate or not. What do we mean by calibration? The setting of the voltage line on the stabilizer. This one is a microcontroller. It only has 2 places you vary. So it does not need much calibration. But when it comes to stabilizer like this, that is not a microcontroller, there you can. These are the variables we use in setting it. You will understand them more. So the same principle that goes with that one goes with this one. This one has 2 IC. It has relays. Those IC is what does the calculation to tell you that, let's assume you have an input voltage of 120. It does the calculation and tell them that the voltage coming in is low, so you output relay, switch it. So finally, before I round up this teaching, I want to do a mathematics for you. I want to do a mathematics for you. Now, for you to understand, I want to teach you something called tolerance. Watch this one. They say input voltage. What do you see there? 230 minus 56% plus 13%. Then the output 230 plus minus what? 5%. Now the fuse rating. The input fuse is 9 amp. Watch this calculation here. Under they wrote 100 to 260. Let me get another. $100 to 260. Then the output here, they did not write anything. Let me explain this before we call it a day. Now let me explain that. They are telling you that the input is from 100 to 260. That is the same thing that you are seeing here. It's the same thing you are seeing here. So don't be deceived. 56% is 56 over 100. Then times this 230 over 1. If you do this calculation, you will get 100. Sorry, if you do this calculation, minus what you get, minus it from 230, you will get 100. This one plus 13%, 13 over 100 times 230. Whatever you get from here, plus it to 230, you will get 260. That's the input voltage. Then output voltage, 230 plus minus 5%. 5% is 5 over 100 times 230 over 1. Let's calculate it. 5 here. Any calculator here? 5 here, 2. 11.5. So it's the same thing as 230 plus minus 11.5. Hello? So let's say 11.5 plus this, you will get 241.5 volts. But if you minus it from this, 230 minus 11.5, 5, 8, 218.5. Hello. Initially we said 220. Practically we got 218.5. So meaning they are telling you that the voltage, please, you just have to watch it again and understand. The voltage range there, we have 218.5 and we have 241.5. Mark you, I explained earlier before, say 220 volts, 240 volts. Is the same range. A voltage of 220 and 218.5 is the same thing in voltage reading. Some meters will not give you because of meter error. Mark you, this one is just theoretically. But practical, they are telling you that if you get the voltage like this, it's okay. Because let's assume you are metering your house. It won't be easy for you to get exactly 220 in all cases. That you measure like 5 different buildings. Even 5 different buildings. You go to the first house, you measure it, you see that it's 220. The second one can be 220. It said that we go a little bit above 220 or below 220. So for practical sake, 218.5 is equivalent to 220. 241.5 is equivalent to 240. So it's accepted. This is the practical. This is just theory and assumption. So that is why if you are reading it, you can't see 220, and you see less than that, it's okay. Or what they are letting you know is that if the voltage you are getting is plus minus 5% of 230, the output is okay. So please, let me stop here. Let me not crowd your brain too much. So just go through this, and you can ask your question. If you have any question, make your comment. But for now, this is the end of this class. So once again, we will stop here. Subsequent class will be a recorded class. In the next class, I will just give you a rundown of everything we are doing for you to understand our timetable, when we will be uploading, and the topics, the table of content that covers everything about the stabilizers, covers about your meter reading, that covers your component, that covers about this transformer. I've not mentioned this. This is an auto transformer. I will explain it. And if you watch in a stabilizer, they use only one transformer. But you find out that majority of people that design stabilizers, some of them will add a little power pack, a little one to power the board. But they use one transformer is doing it because the switching is fast enough. I will explain that later. So once again, this is the end of this class. So if you are not done, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. You that is around here, if you want to ask question also, you can ask. Any question?
I'll cover Anna.